Hi there, welcome to my YouTube channel. Yeah, I thought, as I said to those that's joining me, that I would like to share a couple of videos to you. I'll be very busy in the coming weeks, so I thought that the first video that I would send to you could be about, well, a bit about my background, where I came from, to yeah, where I am today. Now, I know probably a lot of you know a lot about my past, the school I went to, the bank I worked in, going to drama school and such, but in case there's some details that you didn't hear about, or for those new people who don't know that much about me, yeah, this is a little bit about yeah, who I am and where I come from. So, I grew up in Wales, in Cardiff. I was born in Liverpool and moved to Cardiff when I was 3 with my parents. My parents are both Welsh, and I went to a Welsh speaking school. I wasn't very academic, grade C student. Even though I did work hard, I just never got further than that. And I wasn't very sporty either, which made it quite difficult at school because, like most kids, if you're not sporty, you're not very popular. I was always like one of the last ones left, standing there when they picked the teams. Like, yeah, all right, well, we'll take Baxter, that kind of person. So yeah, my self-esteem was really high at school. Anyway, while I was at school, as I said, it wasn't the happiest of my times. But when I was 11 or 12, I heard about some dance school. So I went to that, which I loved. God knows how my parents didn't realise I might be gay back then, I'll never know. But anyway, I did that for a couple of years. And then when I was 13, I heard about an amateur dramatical society for children. And I'd been, at the time, Fame was on the TV show, and I jumped at the chance to be in it. So I auditioned, and the first musical that I got into was called The Dracula Spectacular Show. Now, any of you that know me know that I love my horror films. So I got to play the part of Elvis Presley as a boy in this, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a bit for me like every Saturday was Christmas Day. Finally, I found something that I liked to do and that I thought I was good at, and yeah, my life changed from that moment on. When I got to about 16, I decided that maybe I wanted to do some serious stuff. So I auditioned for a couple of amateur theatre, serious theatre plays, and decided then that I wanted to be a serious actor. My parents were not so keen on the idea. I think they were worried, of me not having a secure future, but I was very stubborn, and the more that they didn't want me to do it, the more that I did. So I was doing A-levels at school, and my dad convinced me that maybe it would be good to get a job for some work experience. So I gave up the A-levels and worked in a bank in Cardiff for 2 years. I hated it. That was a really difficult time for me, between 17 and 19, working for this bank. I didn't like working in a bank, it was totally not my thing. Accounts, numbers, money, all of that. But while I did it, I saved up enough money so that I could audition for drama school. And as soon as I could, I auditioned for about 10 different accredited drama schools, where you got a grant then, back in the day. You wouldn't get that these days. Then you could get a grant and you could get your equity card, at least a provisional, if you went to one of these colleges, which is why they were so sought after, and the competition to get in was huge. I auditioned and I kept it quiet from my parents because I don't think they believed I'd get in, and I didn't want that negativity in me. And when I was on the auditions, I met loads of people that kind of made me feel as if it would never happen, or at least not in the first year. You'd have to audition for a couple of years before they would take you seriously. But I was so determined to do it. I had to get out of this place where I was in the bank, and thank the Lord I did. I got in to Guildford School of Acting, and my life changed. I moved away from home at 19, yeah, and to start fending for myself. It was an amazing time. I worked very, very hard at that school. I got Student of the Year award, which was great because it meant my grants went up, so more money came in. Even though it was never enough, I still had to do all the regular odd jobs and stuff that people have to do around it. But because I got that Student of the Year award, I think it made me more noticed to the principal and the people at the college that are really good. So I ended up getting the main part in a play in Santa Monica that we took over to America, and playing the lead villain, and that was an amazing experience. And then when we came to our final graduation, we get to do a show in London and all the agents come to see it, and I really hoped I'd get an agent, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. I didn't get anyone. So with a few of my friends I moved to London, tried to get auditioning for this, that and the other through the Stage magazine. Even working in a restaurant, I had to audition for that. They wanted actors that could be waiters, and the queue for that was huge. So that was also quite a dark, worrying time. But I went with my Stage newspaper every week looking for the auditions, and then I saw this one for a boy band based in the Netherlands, and they wanted boys between the age of 17 and 22. So I just scraped in because I was 22 at the time. Went along, thought they were going to ask me to do some choreography or something, and instead they just Pump Up the Jam, is it Technotronic, and filmed me and just asked me to sing to dance like I was in a nightclub. So I stood there dancing, and then I thought, I need to do something a bit better than this. So I chucked in a couple of pirouettes just to make it a bit exciting. And then I finished that, and then they asked me if I had a pop song to sing, which I didn't. So I sang I Got Rhythm, and then they said, could I sing something around the piano? So they gave me a song to sing, and I can't remember what it was. Did it, shook hands with them, and as I was leaving, a guy that had been sitting at the back of the room that hadn't introduced himself or anything came up to me and shook my hand and said, very impressed. And I said thank you and left. Little did I know that that was Kees van Leeuwen, who was the owner of Caught in the Act, the guy behind everything. So the next day I got a phone call and they asked me to come to Amsterdam for a second audition. I was so over the moon about getting an all expenses paid trip to Amsterdam. I'd never been before. I didn't really think about the job. All my friends were really envious of me. Anyway, I flew over, met Ben, Eloy and Baz, and we all got along really well. And then we had to do some choreography, I think, and a couple of photos. And at the end of the few days, the manager offered me the contract. So I wasn't that gullible. I didn't just sign there and then, but I took it home with me. And 2 months later, I moved over to live in Amsterdam. If anybody had told me while I was graduating at drama school that I would be moving to a new country in the next 2 months, I would have never believed them. But it just goes to show you never know what's around the corner. Anyway, I moved over there. The first 6 months were very hard. This was before internet, before mobile phones and such. So I was quite isolated while I was there. I didn't have any friends, I didn't speak the language, I didn't have a television or a radio. Just my diary, and nothing really much was happening with the band at the time, and I didn't get to see the other guys that often. So it was a difficult time. There was even a plane crash in Amsterdam in one area, and I didn't even know about it because I had no contact with the TV or radio or anything. I think it was a week later I called my parents from a phone box, and they were so relieved that I was okay. They had no idea where I was. Anyway, we had the 2 years of the apprenticeship, working in, performing in schools, and doing Cartouche in Utrecht. We had a real loyal fan base of about 200 Dutch fans that followed us everywhere. And then our break came in '94 when we got the soap opera in Germany, Gute Zeiten, Schlechte Zeiten, if I can say that correctly. That was the end of '94-ish, and we were there filming that for a few months. And then in January of '95, I think it was, or February, our song Love Is Everywhere went to number 10 in Germany and went gold. And then, life changed completely for all four of us. That was a whirlwind time. It was amazing. It was a bit hard at first. I found the first 6 months really hard to cope with, because as soon as you become really big, you get like sharks that kind of come in to the or try to get close to you, and it's quite a weird place to be. But after 6 months, I adjusted, and then yeah, traveling the world, 2 tours of Asia, performing for Miss World in Sun City, doing all our stadium gigs all over Germany, Austria, Switzerland, having Backstreet Boys support us for the tour, the Christmas tour that we did around Austria, Switzerland and Germany. Yeah, like a roller coaster of a life that we had. Didn't want it to end, but unfortunately 4 years later it came to an end. I was devastated, like I know a lot of you were, who were fans back in the day. And then, yeah, I think my life could have gone one way or another at that point. I got into spirituality, as a lot of you know. Ended up going to an ashram, living there for about a few months in India. There's one in New York. And that really helped me a lot to sort myself out and, yeah, find another source of joy from an inner way rather than from the material side of the success and the money. I was trying also working on new songs, writing my own stuff, working with different songwriters, hence the album Old School, which a lot of you have bought. That's songs from back in the day that I never thought would see the light of day, but because now of YouTube and such, and my fan club, we were able to bring them to light. Then in the end, I couldn't afford to stay in my home anymore. 9/11 had just happened, which was devastating, and also my brother had been involved in a serious hit and run. Car had hit him, and he was in a coma for 9 days and then became brain damaged. There was a lot of time spent helping him to rehabilitate himself. And while all of that was happening, 9/11 had happened, and all the stocks and shares plummeted, went down. The bank told me that I had safe stocks and shares, but they weren't, and I didn't have the assets to ride the storm, as they say. When you in those situations with stocks and shares, when it goes down, it must come up again, and then you need to ride it. But unfortunately, with my circumstances, not being able to have any more work come my way, I ended up just grabbing what I could at the last minute and losing hundreds of thousands of euros at the time. So then I couldn't afford to live in my flat anymore, pay the mortgage. So I had to rent out my flat and sleep on people's couches and stuff. It was a really dark time, sell my car. And then I worked in a photo shop in the centre of Amsterdam, in the Jordaan, which was quite fun. And in the end, decided to go back to Britain. So I moved back in 2004, changed my name to my middle name, Colin Baxter. Went to Edinburgh with some friends and took a comedy show up there, which we wrote ourselves, and that's where I got my agent from. So started auditioning for acting jobs as the name Colin Baxter in London when I first moved, but I hated London. And then I moved to Brighton. Somebody told me that Brighton would be more my thing. I had no idea it was the gay capital at the time. I just thought it's close enough to London, and it's near the sea. So that's why I moved here. What a great move that was. I think Brighton is the closest that we've got to Amsterdam, with the way it is and the way people are, and the kind of the mentality of the people here. It was also, as it's a gay capital, I got myself a job in a gay-friendly pub, and then opened my life up to the sort of gay scene in Brighton at 34, 35. I didn't go out on the gay scene really when I lived in Amsterdam. I always kind of kept it quiet because I thought it would affect, people knowing I was gay would affect my career. But now the career had ended, I'd given up the music, I was working on being an actor as a new person, and so I had a freedom to be a gay man in Brighton. And yeah, went out to clubs and bars and had a really good social time for a few years. Then I got to a point where I was getting close to 40 and feeling a bit, not sure where my life was going. renting a room in somebody's house, a small room, having just enough money to survive, literally, not being able to go on holidays or go and eat out or anything. And it was a friend that said to me, why don't you get your own business? I couldn't think what to do, but she did definitely plant a seed. So I was thinking of that. At the time I was working in Arundel on these ghost tours as an actor, tour guide, and I did that for a couple of years. And whilst I was looking for a new business, the guy that was running that said that he was moving on and his lease was up. Would I like to take it on? So at the age of 39, coming up to 40, I took on it wasn't called it then, but the jailhouse, the Arundel Jailhouse. I renamed it, branded it the Arundel Jailhouse, got a license to sell alcohol because it was only being used for the ghost tours and for paranormal investigations because it's supposed to be haunted. Got my personal license and started doing comedy nights, music nights, theatre, which is great for my creative side. And yeah, the business became very successful. Did that for about 3 years, and then the music took off again. An independent film that I had done a few years earlier, I had sung the title track of. The film was called Profile of Fear, and the song I sang on it was Nobody But Myself. Fans, then I had Facebook, so I'd started Facebook, and that's when a lot more fans were able to connect with me again more directly, and they told me that they wanted this song. So Paul Glazer, who I had known for years and had worked with on and off on various plays, and also we had a go at writing and singing together in the studio, had written the song, and I'd recorded it. So I had contacted him again after a few years, and he jumped at the chance to work together again, and as you know, we ended up having a very successful 4 years together, him writing songs for me and me performing them and releasing albums and having a really good time to get my confidence back as a solo singer. And then it got to a point last year or so when I really wanted to write my own stuff and have more control in the direction that I wanted to go. And Paul didn't really want that, he wanted to write stuff for me, so I decided to work with Will, as you know, and we wrote the new album, which is coming out. It's all finished, we're just now producing it, and I can't tell you the happiness I have in being able to have such a creative control in the mixing and the producing also of the album, as well as the lyrics and the music. It's just wonderful to get this chance and the power to be able to do that. And as you know, or you might not, the new single, Unemotional, from the album comes out on October the 11th, and the album, True to Me, will be out on November the 10th. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment. I hope that wasn't too long or too boring for you. And thanks again for joining my channel, and onwards and upwards. Lots of love to you. Ciao.